I have a decision to make. So, for those of you seeing this video for the first time without any context, you can watch the other videos. But just to recap, I have the OnePlus Open. What happened was, I got up one day, opened the phone, and the screen was cracked. Sent it into OnePlus for repair. They repaired it way faster than I would have anticipated. Great stuff on them. But while it was with them, this is over the course of maybe 3 to 4 days, I forget. Check the video for that context. I will have it in the cards, you can see it there. I got the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now, I have two phones. Doesn't make sense for me to keep two, so I'm trying to figure out which one is best based on my use case, which one provides more value for me. And so because of that, I'm putting them head to head. Now, the good thing is, for you watching, this could be something that could be helpful for you. I haven't seen much content that speaks to foldable devices being pitted against just standard slab of a phone. So I'm just kind of curious to see how this turns out, this journey, and I want to share that with you. Okay, so first up we have the OnePlus Open. This phone was released in October 2023. Now, this variant, well, there's only really one variant that you can buy this as, and this is the 512 gig storage, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, okay? It also has 5 cameras. This phone specifically is running Android 14, Oxygen 14 over that, and it has the latest security patches, which as of now is May 2024. The Galaxy S24 Ultra that I have, this was released this year, January 2024. It has 512 gigs of storage, this variant, 12 gigs of RAM. Of course, you can get them in 256, 512, and 1 terabyte storage as well. And the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor. Yeah, it's also running Oxygen 14, Samsung One UI, I think 6.1, and it's also running the latest security patch, which as of right now is May 2024. So they're both up to date, and that's going to be very important just as we have this conversation. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the phone. What I found using both. Now again, the OnePlus Open has Oxygen OS, Oxygen 14, and between the two of them, Samsung's One UI 6.1, I much enjoy the Oxygen OS way better than the Galaxy S24, and it's simply because of how it chooses to think of customization. Now with Samsung, of course, customization is Samsung's playground. It always has been, but I just think the way how Oxygen implements it is it feels a little more classy. It feels a little more sophisticated, and it's more enjoyable. One of the things I love, like the highlight for me where the interface is concerned, two things. One, the enlarged folders. So essentially you have folders where you can just interact, you can put icons in the folders and just interact with them just right on screen without having to expand them. That is pretty cool. And I also like the control center, the notification section as well. The way how it's laid out since the latest update, it has been pretty cool. So that's been something that I have thoroughly enjoyed. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is actually multitasking. Now, again, we're talking about a foldable device here, and we're talking about a slab. Now, obviously, the whole play of the OnePlus Open foldable devices is how good they are at multitasking, and this is no joke. It is absolutely amazing at multitasking. Now, the thing is, I found that Samsung's multitasking implementation is actually better than that of the OnePlus Open. Let me just justify that, because that may sound like a weird thing to say. No, again, OnePlus Open does have a really intuitive way of doing multitasking. You can have 3 full screen apps on the screen at a time, and you can also add a 4th floating window, which is, again, it comes in clutch. However, what I realized with Samsung is that you're actually able to use 2 apps on top of each other, and then you're able to add as many floating windows as you desire to. At least I haven't figured out how many you can actually use, but I've used up to 4 additional floating windows on top of the other 2 apps that I have open on the top and the bottom of the screen. So that is, again, from a multitasking perspective, if we're trying to do several things at once, I mean, the screen size, we still have to be practical, right? But there is more that you can do at once with the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Another thing I noticed just on the multitasking bit is most of the time when I'm multitasking, I'm utilizing maybe like YouTube and another app and another app. And what I realized, especially when splitting the screen on the OnePlus Open, if I have the YouTube app, say on the left or the right, the size of the window, the size of the actual video is essentially the same size as that of the Galaxy S24 Ultra. So again, most times in my use case when I'm multitasking, there's a video involved and I'm doing something else. So that's something I noticed, the video of YouTube, and that's probably not a knock on OnePlus, it's probably just how the apps scale. And there's so little you can do, but then when you think about then the benefit of having, you know, multitasking in that sense, you don't really get more value from that perspective. I will, however, highlight that for the OnePlus Open, for like meetings, it's really cool just having that wider screen on the inside, just to be able to maybe have a meeting to the side and take more notes. You can have greater visibility on some of your apps. However, again, just because of multitasking for what it is, being able to do more all at once, the Galaxy S24 Ultra is my pick. Some of the other things that I guess I want to think about for the phone in terms of the practicality and quality of life features for the OnePlus Open, it's the IR blaster. Now, a lot of people don't use this a lot. It's something that we used to see a lot more back in the day with LGs and Samsungs and different phones altogether. But OnePlus still managed to implement one, and I don't think it's something that's super difficult. I wish more companies would still do it, because it's come in handy for me, especially in these days of TV and just the various you know, ways of streaming, whether you're using Disney Plus or whatever on your TV. Having an IR blaster has come in so handy for me several times when I can't seem to find my Fire Stick remote. This has always come in handy, so that's been cool. So that's one thing that the OnePlus Open has. As it relates to the Galaxy S24 Ultra, some of the features that this has, for one, because it uses the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, it's now able to utilize a lot of AI features within the device. And that's been something that I've enjoyed a lot. You can just kind of watch other videos on the various things, but you know, one of the things I like is just to be able to be on a screen and you do like a circle to search. That's been something I've found myself using a whole lot. Another one that I don't use as much would be the good old S Pen. Now, again, it's come in handy. I use it on some occasions when I need to take a quick note or I need to sign a signature. Another time could be me probably having the phone on a tripod and me wanting to take a picture, and I could just use this as a remote. So that's another way in which I utilize this feature. So that's something that I like a lot. Another thing I think that is super important to mention is the charging on both devices. Now, both devices support fast charging. However, the OnePlus Open is just incredibly fast. So the battery life on the OnePlus Open doesn't last as long as that of the Galaxy S24 Ultra, but I do find that charging this device quickly does help. And again, having the charger out the box is, it's amazing. I do have a 100-watt charger, which helps me to top this up really quickly as well, but still the OnePlus Open is way faster. So we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Snapchat, we're on Instagram, we're on all these things utilizing our cameras, and a lot of times they always say, I don't know who these they are, but they always say that the best camera you have is the one on you. And these devices have incredible cameras in their own right. So the OnePlus Open has a 50 megapixel main camera, a 64 megapixel telephoto camera, and a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera. That's on the back. And then it also has a 20 megapixel cover screen camera here, and then it also has a 32 megapixel camera. So it has 5 cameras, and they're just really good cameras. Now, as for the S24 Ultra, it has a measly 200 megapixel main camera. It has a 10 megapixel telephoto camera, a 50 megapixel telescopic camera, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. On the front, it also has a 12 megapixel selfie camera as well, just to compare the two. Now, from a megapixel count, the OnePlus wins. If we're just looking at that, minus the main camera, which is 50 megapixel, and 50 megapixels on the OnePlus Open, and 200 on the Galaxy S24 Ultra. That said, the picture quality on both these devices are amazing. And I think to qualify that, I should probably just kind of show some content that probably speaks more to that. So right now I'm using the Galaxy S24 Ultra on the right and the OnePlus Open is on the left. Just doing a selfie video outside, just doing a quick test to see what it looks like once recording. It's recording in outside, just doing a quick test and yeah, just trying to see how these compare to each other. So let's see how that turns out. So now we have the Galaxy S24 again, OnePlus Open doing 4K 30 on their main cameras. Again, we want to compare them to see how they each turn out. I'm walking up to some goose here. Hopefully I can get close enough just to see them in action. I mean, typically once they're voided, you know, they won't get to, you know, they're minding their business. I probably should mind mine, but I got work to do, so hopefully they understand, hey, what's going on. There's also a lot of wind today, so we can also see what that sounds like on each device, just from a, you know, I guess separating the wind from my voice and seeing how that turns out. So we have a bunch of goose out here. Yeah. Now, one cool trick that the OnePlus Open has is that you can actually use the main display and the main cameras to record. I'm currently doing the same video on the, I'm using the wide angle cameras on both devices. On the S24 Ultra, obviously I don't have a screen at the back, so I can't see myself. I'm just hoping that everything turns out well. Whereas on the OnePlus Open, I can actually see myself. So that's pretty cool. The fact that you're able to use the best camera on the device to do this type of stuff, again, one of the benefits of having a folder. It's pretty nifty, and it's very good for those who want to create content and use a good camera. I think the OnePlus Open has amazing cameras, so having this feature, it's really, really, really cool. And not so much cool when you're using both your hands and afraid of dropping the device. So that's pretty, you know, I have to be a little bit cautious here. But yeah, OnePlus Open, Galaxy S24. Okay, so it's almost night here, and I thought I would just do another test only because I want to see how each device kind of handles this time of day. On the OnePlus Open, I can immediately see that the sky is absolutely blown out. My skin is also exposed a little bit bright for some reason. Maybe it will look different once it's processed, but on the Samsung, on the other hand, the colors look a little bit more balanced, I would say. So again, once they're processed, I'm not sure if the Galaxy S24 is Ultra, I have to say that, is processing in real time. But we'll see how it turns out on each device. But yeah, I just wanted to see again how they perform at this time of day. So let's see how that turns out. So the last thing I want to talk about is just the ecosystem that's built around these devices. Now, OnePlus has steadily been building out its ecosystem for OnePlus, and what that looks like in this case, you have TVs, you have tablets, you have earbuds, you have watches. That's sort of the extent of the ecosystem as far as I know for right now with the OnePlus. That being said, again, that's a good quality of life thing for some. For Galaxy, for the Samsung, same thing. You have TVs, you have tablets, you have watches, you have earbuds. You also have trackers. With Google especially using the Find My Device network, I'm sure from a tracking perspective, they're going to be on equal footing. But from an ecosystem, Samsung is a bit more mature. It has more time. It has had more time to expand their network. And yeah, but again, both of them have good devices that exist within their ecosystem. Galaxy has more, but OnePlus has a steady, solid contribution within that network as well. Okay, so which device am I going to be keeping? Again, we have two solid devices here. With the OnePlus Open though, we have to think about cost. This foldable device, it costs around $1,500 US, and the Galaxy S24 Ultra, it starts at around $1,200. And in terms of value, which one provides more value to me? That's going to be the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now here's why. What it really boils down to is fragility at this point in time. Based on my previous experience with OnePlus Open, again, it's a solid phone, but when it broke, I couldn't pinpoint any particular thing. My devices are babied, but I'm a little bit hesitant right now as it relates to the OnePlus Open. For the Galaxy S24 Ultra, it's a solid phone all around. The cameras are good, the screen is good, the experience is good, it's smooth, the AI features, a lot of quality of life features as well. And it's a phone I know I can depend on because, I mean, again, less moving parts, so par for the course. When we're comparing apples to oranges of sorts, this is going to be a more reliable phone. That being said, that is not to turn anyone away from the OnePlus Open. The OnePlus Open is still a solid device. And if it is that you're in the market for a foldable device, I would say grab one now. However, the Galaxy Fold 6 will be announced soon, so you may want to check that out. But as it relates to me, yeah, I'm going to be packing away the OnePlus Open, getting that sold, and I'll be keeping the Galaxy S24 Ultra. So, you know what? Do you agree with my decision? I mean, I'm still keeping the S24 Ultra. But if you have different thoughts, I would love to hear it. So here's what. You know the usual protocol, you know, like, share, subscribe, save, whatever you need to do. But let's keep the conversation going in the chat. If you think that it's even fair to be comparing foldable devices to these devices, to me, I think so. I mean, all of these are supposed to be workhorses and, you know, devices for us. But my use case may be different from yours, so don't feel discouraged by using any of these devices. Just figure out what your use case is and let me know which one your pick is. So see you on the next one. Yo.